The 2020 Aston Martin Victor. The 2020 Aston Martin Victor is a bespoke, one-off supercar developed by the company's Q division. Built around a carbon fiber monocoque from the 177, a car that Aston Martin offered from 2009 to 2012, the Victor draws styling cues from the V8 Vantage of 1970s, as well as the race-spec DBS V8, also known as the RHAM 1, that Aston Martin built in the late 1970s for the 24 Hours of Le Mans. The 2020 Victor is powered by a naturally aspirated V12 also sourced from the 177, but some drivetrain components come from the much newer Valkyrie supercar. Q by Aston Martin built just one, so it's one of those supercars that you can only hope to see in the metal at a fancy auto show. Exterior. The Victor's exterior is a cool mix of new and classic. While the overall design is just as organic as the modern Aston Martins, several styling cues are heavily based on vehicles from the 1970s. The front fascia boasts the company's current grille with a narrower top section, a rounded bottom, and a fine mesh. However, the headlamps flanking it are perfectly round, a tribute to the V8 Vantage model from the 1970s. Aston Martin even added smaller and round turn signals at the lower corners for a proper vintage look. The massive bumper is of the dustpan variety and its roots lie in the late 1970s, race-spec DBS V8. Also known as the RHAM 1, this race car was developed to race at 24 Hours of Le Mans. The engine hood is also inspired by the old V8 Vantage, featuring a raised center section, as well as a big bulge to make room for the big V12. The front fenders and door panels are rather generic compared to other Aston Martins, but the extremely wide and sculpted side skirts with integrated side exit exhaust pipes set the Victor apart. This feature is also inspired by the race-spec RHAM 1, as is the upper hard line that creates a square shoulder on the rear fender. The squared section provides a powerful look by making the rear fenders seem wider. The rear section is also heavily based on the old V8 Vantage and RHAM 1, mostly thanks to its boat-tail-style spoiler. This aero device is seamlessly integrated into the front fascia and extends a few good inches upward from the rear deck. The fascia itself is clean and thin, integrating a carbon fiber section that includes Aston Martin lettering and LED taillights borrowed from the Valkyrie. There's no bumper to talk about, just a massive carbon fiber diffuser with no fewer than 8 vertical fins. Yes, the Victor is a road-legal race car. Despite its muscular look, the Victor can achieve around 60% more downforce than the race-spec Vantage GT4 at 100 miles per hour. The Victor is finished in Pentland green, a dark shade of green based on one of the colors that Aston Martin offered back in the day. But many of the car's lower body elements, including the grille, front bumper, side skirts, and rear diffuser are finished in bare carbon fiber with a satin tint. Interior. Like a proper bespoke supercar, the Victor features a brand new interior that you find in another Aston Martin. It's obviously inspired by the world of racing and features a big amount of carbon fiber. The lightweight composite is visible around the instrument cluster, on the steering wheel, the infotainment screen frame, around the gear shifter, on the door panels, and on the floor. And there's even more carbon fiber underneath the dark green leather that covers most surfaces. The dashboard itself is rather thin at the top. The passenger side area is clean, while the center section includes a big piece of solid walnut and only 2 buttons below the infotainment screen. Both the infotainment display and the instrument cluster are smaller than the norm, but it makes sense given that the Victor is a race-spec road car. The steering wheel comes from the Valkyrie, so it's devoid of upper rim section, it features a flat bottom, and various controls on the 3 spokes. The Victor's sporty but lush cabin also includes anodized aluminum and machined titanium trim, a machined gear shifter with a wood knob, and race-style pedals. Drivetrain. The Victor is mostly a 177 under the shell. The 177 was built from 2009 to 2012 in only 77 units and it's one of Aston Martin's most revered modern supercar. The underpinnings used in the track-only Vulcan are also derived from the 177. The Victor also features a rear housing from the same car. Similarities continue under the hood, where the Victor hides the same 7.3-liter V12 engine as the 177. However, the mill was retuned by Cosworth, the same company that built the original engine, so power increased to 836 horsepower and 606 pound-feet of torque. That's 86 horses and 53 pound-feet more than the 177. Compared to the Vulcan, which also features a naturally aspirated V12, but slightly smaller at 7.0 liters, the Victor cranks out an extra 16 horsepower and 31 pound-feet of twist. All that V12 power hits the rear wheels through a 6-speed manual transmission from Graziano. The unique drivetrain setup also includes twin coolers and a bespoke motorsport clutch. For a more focused experience at the track, the car has been equipped with the same inboard springs and dampers as the track-only Aston Martin Vulcan. Available with 6-stage settings, the setup has been honed to meet the demands of imperfect road driving conditions. Stopping power comes from big 380mm 15-inch front and 360mm 14.2-inch rear Brembo CMMR carbon ceramic brakes that deliver GT3 race car levels of braking capability. How fast is the Aston Martin Victor? Aston Martin did not release information about performance, but the Victor should be able to hit 60 miles per hour from a standing start in less than 3 seconds. It should also be able to hit a top speed of more than 200 miles per hour. How much does the Aston Martin Victor cost? We don't know how much the lucky owner of this unique car paid, but it's safe to say that the Victor is a multi-million-dollar vehicle. Given that it shares tech with the 177 and Vulcan, it should be at last as expensive as these supercars. While the 177 retailed from almost $1.9 million back in the day, the Vulcan costs around $2.3 million. With the Victor being a one-off, it was probably sold for close to $3 million. Conclusion. The Aston Martin Victor is solid proof that the British company is capable of designing and building bespoke vehicles through its Q division. It's the car that grants the company access to a very exclusive niche of automakers that are able to produce one-off models for rich customers, a segment that includes the likes of Ferrari and Lamborghini. The Victor is also a masterpiece. Not only it's heavily based on iconic cars that Aston Martin built and raced in the 1970s, it also shares underpinnings with the fantastic 177. Sure, you could argue that the 177 is some 10 years old, but the Brits updated nearly every component and added tech from the Vulcan and even the Valkyrie. I honestly hope that the Victor signals the beginning of a new era from Aston Martin that will see many more bespoke models leave its factory. Love it, looks cool, celebrates a classic model, unique interior, big V12 power. Leave it very expensive, only one built.
If you liked this video, please share your thoughts in the comments below and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.